This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about the batch programming, how to implement the batch programming, what is the batch programming internal execution lifecycle, and how a batch class will run internally, how it is going to be dividing the records to the various small batches, and what is the interface that we need to use in order to implement the batch classes. What are the various methods are available inside this batchable interface we have discussed. Whenever we are implementing that batch programming, what are the various steps that we need to follow, we have discussed. Now, so now let's see a practical use case. How can we implement the batch programming? We'll see with a practical use case. Now let's see practical use case. So let me take a small use case. Let's see the practical part. For example, assume that I have this account object. For example, I have this account object. In this account object, I'm having totally 64 records are available. Okay, I'm having totally 64 records are available. Now my requirement is I want to assign the rating value as hard for each and every account record. For every account record, I want to assign the rating value as hard. I want to assign the industry as manufacturing. I want to assign the annual revenue value as some 75 lakhs. Okay, 75 lakhs. So for all these account records, I want to change the rating as hard and then industry as manufacturing, annual revenue value as 75 lakhs for each and every account record. For all the 64 records, I want to assign these values. And then in this case, what I want to do, I don't want to consider all these 64 records inside a single transaction. I want to divide them to the various small batches by using the batch size 5. So whatever the 64 records are available, these 64 records I want to divide to the various small batches of size 5. So first 5 records will be in batch 1, next 5 records will be in the batch 2. Like that, here I need to divide the records to the various small batches, and I would like to implement this one by using batch program. Then how can we implement this functionality? Now let's see practically. How to implement this batch class? Now let's see practically, we will see. And how can we send the email notifications? Now let's see. Now, so let me take this use case. Now create a batch job to update all the account records, by assigning the values, as below, by dividing the records to the various batches of size 5. I want to assign. For this account record rating, I want to assign the value as hot. I want to assign the account records industry. I would like to assign as manufacturing. And then I would like to assign the account records annual revenue as some 75 lakhs. These are the values which I would like to assign. Along with that, I want to make the account records active status as yes. So now here, this is my use case. So I want to create a batch job. Okay, I want to create a batch job where I would like to collect all the account records available inside my account object, and then I would like to update each and every account records rating value as hot, industry as manufacturing, annual revenue value as 75 lakhs, active status as yes for all these account records by dividing them to the various small batches of size 5. So once the whole batch processing has been executed, then how can we get the confirmation? Can we see the result inside my debug log file? No, debug log files will not be worked over here. We can't see the debug log file information because if the programming is executing within your organization, then it will be printing that debug log file. But batch jobs are always executing outside of the organization. That's what we are defining it as global. That's what we're defining it as global. Batch classes are always executing outside of the organization. Outside of the organization means what? By placing inside the topics queue. So that here we're defining it as global. So that here once the batch classes are executing outside of the organization, we can't print any message on the debug log file. Debug log file won't print those messages. Then how can we get the confirmation of a batch class? Through email programming. Once the batch has been executed, then I would like to send one email notification. Okay, I would like to send an email notification to the people. Then how to send the email notification? You already know. You already know how to send the email notifications to the people by using single email message classes. Now, so I would like to use that single email message class. With the help of the single email message class, I would like to send the email notifications to the people. Then how can we do that? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, now, let me check, do we have any validations on this account object? If yes, let me deactivate this. All are deactivated, okay, no problem. Now, now, let's see how can we create this batch class. Go to the developer console. Create a batch class. I'm creating a batch class. I'm indicating update account records batch. Update account records batch job. I'm indicating that class name batch job class name as update account records batch job. This is the class name. So what needs to be done? As a step one, first of all, we have to make this class as global because batch classes are always executing outside of the organization, so that we have to define this batch class as global always. It should not be public. It should be always global. Now, and we need to implement this batch class by using an interface that is called as database.batchable. Database.batchable of yes object. That means this batchable interface will be supporting to collect any yes object type of records. Any object records it can collect. So we have to prepare that global class. This class should be implemented by using an interface called as database.batchable interface. So we are implementing this interface by using the keyword implements. Now, in this case, what needs to be done as the step 2? Inside this batchable interface, we have how many methods? 3 methods. What are those? Start method, execute method, and the finish method. These are the 3 methods are available inside this batchable interface. Okay, inside this batchable interface, we have 3 methods are available. First one is start, second one execute, third one finish. So we have to provide the implementation for these methods. Now, how to provide the implementation? Now, let's see practically in this case. What is the syntax of these methods? Global database dot query locator start. Global database dot query locator start. The second method, global void execute. Third one, global void finish. 3 methods. Then what do we have any parameters for these methods? Yes. What is the parameter for these methods? There is a parameter called as database dot batchable context. Batchable context, I'm giving the parameter name as bcontext. As part of execute method, it is having a parameter database dot batchable context, bcontext. And along with that, it is having that one more parameter list of yes object. That means whatever the batch record the start method is passing to execute method. So now start method is collecting the first batch. That batch record is passing to the execute method. So execute method should be in a position that it should be able to receive those records here. For that one, it is having list of subjects. So now it will be having records. I'm giving the parameter name. Records to process. Any parameter name we can give. The finish method, it is having the database dot batchable context bcontext. Batchable context, that is bcontext. So these are the 3 methods are available. Okay, these are the 3 methods are available as part of this batchable interface. As part of this batchable interface, it is having 3 parameters. So now, in this case, what needs to be done? It is having these 3 methods: start method, execute method, and the finish. These are the 3 methods are available, okay, inside this batchable interface. Now, so this is the syntax. Up to this part, this syntax is very, very important, because in the interview point of view, they will give you the paper and pen. They will ask you to write the syntax of this batch class. Then you have to write this complete syntax. Up to this part, you have to write, because they would like to verify whether you are able to write this method and method names and the parameters syntax correctly or not. That means whether you are having that experience on this programming or not, whether you are comfortable to write the syntax perfectly or not, so that to check your ability, to check your syntactical knowledge, they are asking you to write some syntax also. They will ask you to write the batch classes syntax. It's a common question in every interview. By giving the paper and pen, they will ask you to write the syntax of batch class. Okay, this part, up to this part, we have to write this piece of code. Okay, now, so next one. So I'm done with that, okay, preparing that batch class. I'm done with that, preparing the methods. Now, what needs to be done? We have to prepare implementation part. Okay, we have to provide the business logic. What you want to do as part of this batch class. Okay, now let's see practically in this case. So what we have to do as part of my requirement, I want to collect all the account records available inside my account object, and for those records, I want to assign the rating value as hard, industry as manufacturing, annual revenue as 75 lakhs, active status as yes. So these are the values which I would like to assign. How to update the records? Already you know. You know how to query the records, how to update the records by using update statement or database.update method, anything, you know that concept here. But here I would like to execute through my batch class. How can we do that? Now let's see practically in this case. Now, so in this case, what needs to be done? As part of batch programming, first of all, we have to query the records, right? Yes. How can we query? By using that SOQL query here. I'm preparing a SOQL query. I'm indicating accounts query. Accounts query equals to, I'm indicating, select ID of that account, name of the account, rating, industry, annual revenue, active status from account. So I have prepared this SOQL query here. Okay, I have prepared this SOQL query. I'm collecting the account record ID value, name value, rating value, industry, annual revenue, and the active status. So now once this query is ready inside the string variable, then I would like to execute. How? By using database.getQueryLocator. Okay, database.getQueryLocator method here. This is the syntax. Here we have to pass the syntax of that query, which will be returning database.queryLocator method here. Now, here I'm passing that query. So now this database.getQueryLocator method is going to be executing this SOQL query which has specified. So now once the query has been executed, it will collect all the records available inside the account object up to 50 million, up to 5 crores. It will collect all the account records. Those records it is placing inside the temporary memory. The temporary memory starting address it will be returning here. So I am going to return this one. So I would like to return. So what it will do, it will collect the temporary memory. The temporary memory address I'm returning to the query locator class. So the query locator class will be receiving that. The query locator class will receive the temporary memory. Based on the temporary memory, it will go to the location. It will divide the records to the various small pieces called as batches. Based on the batch size which you have specified at runtime, it will be dividing the records to the various small pieces called as batches. Now, once the records has been divided to the various small batches, then it will be passing each batch record to that execute. So start method will collect the first batch, that batch records will be passing to that execute method here. So start method will be collecting the first batch records, and that first batch records it is passing to this execute method. Now the execute method will be receiving those records in terms of a collection, list collection, that is list of a subject. So whatever the first batch records it is passing, that first batch records will be storing inside my parameter records to process collection. Because if you want to pass more than one record, then we should use the collection, right? So for that reason here, it is going to passing those records in the form of list collection. Now, so I would like to verify. So in this collection, do we have the records are available or not? So I want to verify if the collection is not empty, records to process is not empty. So if the collection is not empty, then what needs to be done? I need to collect each and every record available inside the collection. So I'm iterating this collection from starting to end for each and every subject type, because this collection will be of type what? List of what? A subject. So every element is of type yes subject type. So each and every yes subject here, yes obj from the collection records to process. That means I'm collecting each and every element from this collection. So I'm collecting each and every yes subject type of element. Then what we need to do, if you want to update this record, then we need to convert this yes subject type of element into your own type. Your own type means account type, because these are account records here. So I need to convert into account type. So this yes subject, okay, this yes subject, Okay, yes, OBJ I want to convert into account type. So we are using explicit typecasting. I would like to convert into account type. So whatever the S object record is available, this is each and every element. I'm collecting this element. This element I'm converting into my account type here. Now I would like to store inside my account variable. Account some SEC record. Okay, now. So whatever the S object type of element is available, then I'm converting that S object type of element into account type. So that if it is an account record, then we can able to get each and every field value, and then we can update those field values according to the business requirement. Now, so once this account record is available with me, then we can assign that values whatever you want, depends upon your business requirement. Then we can assign that ACC record dot rating. ACC record dot rating. I'm assigning the value as hard. ACC record dot industry. I'm indicating manufacturer. And then ACC record dot annual revenue. I'm assigning some 75 lakhs. ACC record dot active status. I'm assigning the value as yes. Once these values are available, can I write this update statement inside the for loop? No, because that already told you during the DML statements, we can't write any DML statements within the for loop. Why? Because here, for example, here I'm indicating the batch size 5. So even though if you are updating each and every record separately, number of server trees will be keep on increasing. Because of that, it is going to be taking more time. It will be impacting on your application performance. So I don't want to do that. For that reason, what I want to do, I would like to go with the bulkification process. So let's see how can we go with the bulkification concept. So I'm going to be preparing a collection. A list of accounts to update equals to new list of account. Okay, list of accounts to update. That means I would like to update those account records here. I would like to update those account records. So now here in this is the collection which I have prepared, which can store some collection of account record. So once account record is ready with the latest values, then add this record to the collection. And add this record to that collection. So I'm going to be collecting the batch records. Once the batch records are available, then I'm verifying this collection. If the batch records are not empty, if the batch is having some records, the batch is not empty, batch is having some records, then I'm collecting each and every record from that batch. So this each and every record will be in the form of S object type. So I'm collecting each and every S object type of record from the batch. Then this S object type of record I'm converting into my account type. I'm storing inside my account variable. So once the record is available with me, then we are assigning the values whatever you want, and then I'm adding the record to the collection. So once all the records has been added to the collection, then outside the fund, outside the fund loop, I would like to update. If accounts to update is not empty, that means if the collection is not empty, then I want to update those records. So that here I'm using update accounts to update. Okay, I'm going to be committing the changes back to the database. Okay, I'm committing the changes back to the database. This is how we are going to be preparing the business logic inside this. Now, so I have written the business logic inside this. So I'm collecting these account records, and then those records, this business logic is not new. Okay, this business logic is not new. Already you know. but just we are going to be executing in terms of batches. That's it, nothing else. Remaining business logic is everything is same. The SQL queries already we know. Applying the conditions we know. Performing the DML operations we know. Using email programming we know. But just we are going to be using in terms of batch programming. That's it, nothing else. All the features are same. Business logic is same. No change at all. Just we have to follow some batch concept. That's it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, rather than like passing that S object, can we pass directly the account there?
No. We are not passing account because we have to go with that subject type of element. Because we can able to pass any type of queries also. We can make the generic classes, a generic interface. Okay. Now. So now once all the records has been getting processed. Okay, once all the records have been getting processed, then I would like to send the email notification to that owner of that batch class. Because generally, as of now, what we did, we are click on execute button, then it will be executing that piece of code. We can see the result in the debug log file. But here debug log file won't work. Debug log file won't display any result to you. It won't print. System.debug statement won't work. Then what we can do? How can we collect my batch job result? Because whatever the 64 account records are there, these 64 account records are divided into the various batches. Then how many batches will be available? Totally, you will be having the how many batches? 64 records are available. So you will be having 13 batches will be available. 13 batches will be available. First 5 records will be in the batch 1, next 5 records will be in the batch 2, next 5 records in the batch 3, like that up to last records will be in the batch 13. So totally 13 batches will be available. So I want to track from this particular batch programming how many batches are available, how many batches has been processed by Salesforce server, how many batches are successfully processed, how many batches are failed, everything I would like to track. Then how can we implement? Now let's see practically. Now, I want to collect that batch job status through programming. How can we collect the batch job status through programming? By using a class called as, by using an object called as async apex job object. That already you know, each and every batch job results will be storing inside an object called as async apex job object. So async apex job is a standard object. Okay, async apex job is a standard object in which it will be storing all the batch jobs information, all the batch jobs, their results, their batches information, errors information, everything will be storing inside that async apex job object. From there, we can make it query. How can we query now? Let me show you. Async apex job. I'm giving that variable name as job details. I'm querying the data. Select ID of my batch job, status of the batch job, total job items. That means how many batches are available totally, because the team job items processed. How many batches have been processed by Salesforce server? Number of errors. How many batches has been failed? Created by dot email. That means what is the email ID of the created person? That means owner of that batch person. What is the email ID of the batch job owner? I would like to collect this information from async apex job. Okay, from async apex job where ID equals to batchable context dot get a job. Okay, dot get a job. So I'm going to be collecting the ID of my batch job by using this batchable context, and then I'm going to be collecting the complete details of that batch job status. Now, So in this case, that already I told you in the previous session itself. So now batchable context is a class which provides the secured channel, which provide the communication mechanism between the various methods of this batchable interface. As part of batchable interface, we have three methods are available: start method, execute method, and the finish. So between these three methods, it is going to be establishing the communication channel. Upon establishing the communication channel, it is going to be using the batch job ID also. It is using batch job ID. Now, so now here in this case here, so we are collecting the batch job ID from the batchable context class by using a method called as get job ID. Based on this job ID, I'm collecting my batch job details by comparing that ID parameter. Once the details are available, I want to send the email notification. Okay, I want to send the email notification. Write the code to send the email notification. Write the code to send the email notification. Once the whole details has been collected through programming, then write that piece of code to send the email notification to the people here. Then how can we write this piece of code? Now let me explain. Now let's see. So in this case, I would like to write that piece of code to send the email notification. Now, messaging dot single email message. Email equals to new messaging dot single email message. Single email message. Okay, now. So now I would like to collect this details over. I need to pass the required parameter values. So I would like to collect this information. First of all, pass the two address. I'm preparing a string array. Two address equals to new string array. In this string array, I'm passing this the batch job he created the person's email address. So like as job details dot created by that email. That means whatever the batch job that details have collected. So now for this batch job, who is the created by person? That means who is the person created this batch job? Who is that user? That user's email ID I'm collecting over. Okay, I'm collecting that user's email ID. Once the email ID has been getting collected, then along with that, I would like to add my email address also as a CC copy. I'm adding my email address also as a CC copy. Once the details have been getting collected, then we can able to pass to the two address. Email dot set to two addresses. I'm passing this two address. Okay. Now, so in this case here, so I have prepared that a string array. In this string array, I'm collecting that mail IDs to whom you want to send the email notification. So that I have prepared a string array. In that string array, I'm going to be collecting the email ID of the owner of that batch job, and along with that, I'm adding my email address also as a CC copy. Now, and then we can specify the remaining parameters. Email dot set a reply to. I'm indicating Dell Incorporation weekly batch job, which are Dell weekly batch support team. I'm indicating. So we need to specify set reply to email ID, right? I'm indicating support@somedell.com. email dot set sender display name. I'm indicating this. Dell weekly batch job support team. Dell weekly batch job support team. I have indicated that senders display name also. And then align with that email subject. Now, string email subject. I'm indicating alert. Okay, alert. Till weekly batch job. Okay, weekly batch job. I would like to give the job name. What is that batch class name? I'm indicating this. This is my batch job. Batch job. And then in the braces, I would like to give the ID. How can we collect the ID? Batchable context dot get job ID. Get a job ID plus. I'm closing this. Okay, the batch job status notification. That's it. So now here I'm indicating this. So alert weekly, okay, Dell weekly batch job. This is the batch job name. And then here I'm going to be collecting the batch job ID. Over here, I'm concatenating the status notification. Now,
It will
I would like
return
to
in
add-
batch job ID, sir.
Sorry?
In batch job ID, it will return the ID of a particular batch.
Yes, right. Yes. Whatever the current batch job it is running, that current batch job's ID it will return to you.
So is it like that record ID type of things?
Yes, it's like as a record ID, but this ID will be generating by the queue, Apex queue.
Okay, okay.
Now, so now I'm indicating set subject. In this set subject, I'm indicating email subject. So this is the email subject which I have specified. Now, I would like to specify the email content. String email content. I'm indicating that dear customer or dear administrator or dear technical team, I'm indicating that the break tags because I would like to use HTML tags also in order to prepare that email content. We are pleased to inform you that today's weekly customer update batch job has been processed, and then I'm indicating the break tags. And here are the batch job details. I'm giving the two break tags. I'm indicating the batch job ID is I want to collect. Job details dot ID. Batch job name is I'm indicating that this is a batch job name which I would like to specify. A batch job name. Now batch job status. Batch job status is I'm indicating that job details dot status, and then I'm indicating break tag. Here I forgot to specify the break tags. Now, total number of batches available. I want to indicate job details start, total job items. I'm giving a break tag. Number of batches processed. Job details start, job items processed. Number of field batches. Number of field batches. Job details start, number of errors. These are the details I'm indicating. And along with that, I would like to indicate the break tag. I'm indicating this break tag here. Please contact the below Dell support team. If any queries. And then I'm indicating this two break tags. I'm indicating the italic tag over here by italic. Here I'm indicating this is a system generated email. So please do not reply. Okay, please do not reply. And then I'm indicating that thanks and regards and a break tag. Dell support team and a break tag. Dell Incorporation. So this is the email content which I would like to share to the people. Once my batch job process has been executed successfully, then regarding that batch job status details, I want to send one email notification to the people. Inside this one, I'm going to be indicating. So now let's see here in this case. So this is the email content which I would like to share with the people. In this email content, I am going to be adding my batch job status information also. So like how many batches are available inside my batch job, how many batches has been processed by Salesforce server, how many batches has been failed to process, what is the status of my batch job, everything. Because generally we are printing this kind of message by using system.debug. But here system.debug statement won't work because this job is not executing within my organization. This job is executing from outside of the organization by maintaining inside that Apex script, so that we can't print any message on the debug log file. That's what we need to send the email notification to the people. That is the only way. That is the only mechanism to send the email notification. So through email only, we can notify to the job owner or to the batch owner, boss, this is the status of your batch job which you have prepared. So these are the various batches are available. These many number of batches has been processed. These many batches has been filled. Like that, we can able to send the notification to the people. Now, so now here in this case, let me add this email address. Email dot set HTML. I'm passing this parameter. What is this parameter? Email content. Once the email content is ready, okay, once the email content is ready, then I would like to send the email notification. How can we send the email notification? Now let me show. So for that one, we can use messaging dot send email. Here we can able to pass. I'm sending the email notification to the required people. Only one email object is there. Simply we can say new messaging dot single email message, and we can define as an array and then pass that email object. That's it. Over. We can send the email notification to the people also. So whatever the email IDs we have given inside this to address field, to those email IDs, we can send the email notification also. Okay, now this is the functionality. Now let me explain the whole process again so that we can understand. So first of all, we have to prepare a global class which should be implemented by an interface called as a database.batchable interface, because this database.batchable interface contains all the ready-made methods which is used to divide the records to the various batches, and we can process each batch record separately. Instead of considering all the records within a single transaction, we need to divide the records to the various batches, and then we need to process each batch record separately. For that one, whatever the features are required, all the features are available inbuilt inside this particular batchable interface. So as part of this interface, I have three methods are available: start, execute, and the finish. I'm preparing this start method. In this start method, I'm going to be collecting the required records which I would like to update, which I would like to process. You can perform any operation on that: updation, deletion, undeletion, anything, whatever you want. So whatever the records you would like to process, collect those records by using this select statement, and that select statement we have to execute by using database.getQueryLocator method. Why? Because batch programming we are using while to process more number of records. So to get more number of records from the database, we are using getQueryLocator method, which will be having the capability to fetch a maximum of 50 million records. That means 5 crore records. But all these records it can't accommodate inside my collection. So whatever the records it has collected from the database object up to 5 crore, those records are placing inside the temporary memory. Once the records have been placed inside the temporary memory, then the temporary memory address I'm returning to the query locator class. So the query locator class will receive that temporary memory. Based on that memory address, it will go to that location. It will divide the records to the various small pieces called as batches of size, which you have indicated. And then once the records has been divided to the various small batches, then this start method is ready with its operation. It's done with this operation. Then it is waiting for the execute method's availability. It will send one indication to the execute method. Dear execute method, are you free right now or not? Are you idle or not? Because I have some batches, you have to process it. Okay, you have to process. So are you free right now or not? Then execute method will be giving the indication to the start method. Okay, dear start method, I'm okay right now, I'm idle right now, so please give me the batches. Then start method will collect the first batch record. It will pass that first batch record to the execute method. That batch records will be passing in the form of a list collection, that will be in the form of list of yes object. So this batch record it will be collecting with the execute method. It will verify in that batch records are available or not. If the records are available, it will collect each and every record from the collection, and then it will be converting into our own type, and then we can do the required operation on that. We can assign that values also, delete the records also. We can delete those records also. You can do whatever you want here on that records, whatever the operation you want, you can do. And then so what we can do? So once the records are available, then I'm going to be collecting each and every record. I'm assigning some latest values which you want as part of my business requirement. I'm adding the record to the collection because I want to support the bulkification process. Once this records has been added to the collection, then I'm going to be updating those records outside the funnel. Now, so once all the records has been updated, once all the batches have been getting processed, because this execute method will be executing multiple times, okay, multiple times. How many times? Till depends upon the number of batches are available. Depends upon the number of batches, those many number of times execute method will execute. Start method will execute how many times? Only once. It will collect all the records, okay, placed inside the temporary memory. It will be ready. Only one time it will execute. Then keep on it is passing that, okay, keep on it is passing that the batch records to the execute method. First time it will be passing the first batch record, execute method will execute those records. Then it will be collecting the second batch records from start, it will execute it. Like that here, start method will execute only once. Execute method will execute depends upon the number of batches. And the finish method will be executing when once all the batches have been processed, finally it will be executing finish method. So that is also executing only once. Now, so finally the finish method will be getting called. The finish method is used to implement the post execution logics. So whenever if you want to send any email notifications, or whenever if you want to invoke some other batches, then those operations you can write inside the finish method. So to insert this finish method, I'm collecting my batch job status by making a query with that async apex job object. Async apex job is a standard object in Salesforce which will be holding all the batch jobs results. Whatever the batch jobs that you have executed, all the batch jobs results information will be storing inside that async apex job object. Then from there, we are querying the data by making a query to this particular object by passing that respective ID. Once the data is available, then we are passing the data to that respective people through an email notification by preparing the email by using single email message class. By using the single email message class, we can able to prepare the email notification. That email notification, we can send it to the required people to whom we want.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, let's say if we have 10 batches, and could you please take us through how will it run when it comes to the end process, the finish method?
So now when coming to the 10 batches are also available, so it will be executing each and every batch one by one, one by one, one by one. Now, in this case, for example, there are some 6 batches are available. For example, let me explain this process. Now, these are the 6 batches are available, for example. It may be okay, multiple batches also, n number of batches also, no problem. Now, in this case, first of all, it will collect the first batch records. This first batch records, it is passing to the execute method. Execute method will collect the first batch records. Once the operations have been done on this batch 1 records, then it will be committing these changes back to the database. It will commit these changes back to the database. And then it will inform to that start method, I'm done with the first batch, then pass the second batch. Then the start method will collect the second batch records, it will be passing to the execute method. So execute method will collect the second batch, it will be start processing that. Once the operations has been done, it will be committing the changes back to the database. Then it will be informing to that start method, boss, I'm done with that second batch, please give me the third batch. So third batch also it will be getting processed here. Upon processing this third batch, assume that this batch has been failed. In that batch 3, one record has been failed to process. I'm unable to update that record because on that record I don't have the permission or I don't have any update operation on that record, so it is failed. So in this case, what will happen? This batch 3 will be getting cancelled. That means if any of the record has been failed inside the batch, then the whole batch will be getting cancelled. That means batch 3 will be getting cancelled. Then it will be passing that fourth batch here. That means observe this one here. This process is called as what? Partial processing. Okay, this process is called as partial processing. That means what? Batch programming will allow the partial processing between the batches. Upon processing that 6 batches, if the third batch has been failed, it won't cancel that entire batch processing. Simply that particular batch will be getting cancelled. Remaining batch it will be processing as it is here. Fourth batch it will process. Fifth batch also it will process. And then sixth batch also it will process. Like that here we can able to find out. By end of that complete batch processing, we can identify totally how many number of batches are available. In this one, how many batches have been processed by Salesforce, how many batches has been failed. We can able to track this information. This is how we can able to verify that how many batches have been processed and everything. Okay, now. So now let's see in this case here. Now let's see. So once all the batches information has been getting collected, then I'm going to be sending the email notification to the people with the details. Whatever the batch details are available, based on those batch details, I'm sending the email notification to the people. Now, this is how we are going to preparing the batch class.
Sorry, sir.
So once the batch class is ready, how can we execute this batch class? In order to execute that batch class, we are going to be using the two simple statements. You know that concept. Already we have discussed in the previous session. How can we work the batch class? We have to create the object of the batch class. Whatever the batch class that you have prepared, prepare the object. Update account records batch. I'm indicating accounts batch equals to new update account records batch. I'm creating the object. Once the object has been getting created, then invoke the batch. And then invoke the batch job. How to invoke the batch job? By using database.execute batch. In this one here, you will be having the second method, execute batch. Here we have to pass that batch class object name along with that size. You can specify. What is my batch class object name? Accounts batch. What is the size that you want? I want 5. So that you can specify this value. We can give up to maximum what? 2000, not more than that. Suppose if I'm not giving anything, what is the default batch size? It will consider 200. So I don't want 200 records per batch. I would like to consider only 5 records per batch here. So that here I'm using database.execute batch of. You can pass your batch class object name, comma 5. Now, before that, let me log in into my Gmail account. Let's see. Now, so now I'm executing this batch class. Click on execute. My request has been sent to that server. Server will process my batch. It will send the email notifications. Now, I have received that email notification. So Dell weekly batch job, okay, status notification. It is indicating that email subject, alert, Dell weekly batch job. This is the batch job name. This is the batch job ID, which has been generated by Salesforce. Click on this, you can see. Alert, Dell weekly batch job, update account records batch job. This is the batch job ID has been allocated by Salesforce, status notification. I have given that sender's display name as Dell Weekly Batch Job Support Team. This is the sender's display name which I have indicated. And then along with that, I have specified these values also. Dear technical team, we are pleased to inform you that today's weekly customer batch job has been processed. Here are the batch job details. This is the batch job ID. This is the name of that batch job. Status is completed. Total number of batches available is 13. Total batches processed is 13. Failed batches are 0. Okay, all the batches have been processed successfully. And then please contact the below Dell support team if any queries over. And then the system generated email, please do not reply. It is indicating this whole information. Now, so when you go to my, when you go to my Salesforce instance, so now when you select this debug only checkbox, we can't see anything, nothing. It won't print anything on your debug log file. Even though if you're writing some system.debug statement, it won't print anything, nothing. Now, so now let's see, let's go back. Go back to that your records. Let's see. Refresh this user interface. It is indicating all the records. Rating value has been assigned as hard. Industry has been assigned as manufacturing. Annual revenue 75 lakhs. Like that, we can able to see all the records information also. All these 64 records has been updated successfully by dividing them to the various small pieces called as batches. Suppose if you want to see this batch job status information through user interface, simply go to the setup menu, go to the monitor menu in the left panel. You will be having jobs. Go to the Apex jobs. Okay, go to the Apex jobs. In this Apex jobs, we can see this is a batch job here. This is a batch Apex which has been executed today. Status is completed. Number of batches 13. Batches processed 13. Failures are 0. This is the user who has submitted that batch. He is the owner of the batch. This is the completion date and time. And then this is the Apex class in which your batch class information is available. This is the ID has been allocated by the Salesforce for this batch class. We can track the result from here also. We can track the result through programming also here both. But as a best practice, and that too in the real-time implementation, always we need to get that status through programming only. We no need to log in into a Salesforce application. Every day we'll be receiving the email notification. Through that email only we can verify whatever the batches has been processed and how many batches are failed. Everything we can able to track that information. This is how we are implementing the batch classes inside your Salesforce instance. Okay, now let me place this code. And the execution. Okay. So do the practice on this one today. Tomorrow I will show you one more concept as part of batch processing that is called as state management. What exactly the state management? We'll see practically how to implement the state management. I will show you practically. Along with it, we'll see the concept of schedule programming also. How can we schedule that batch job to be run on based on some time period? We'll see practically by using schedule programming. Both we'll see practically in tomorrow's session.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.